Hello everyone, welcome to the Crystally Recapped channel. And now you're going to hear a short recap of the movie Melissa P. And if you like our videos, you can support us by liking and subscribing. A young and shy girl, Melissa, lives in a small house with her mother Daria and grandmother Elvira. Melissa has a very tense relationship with her mother, so she shares all her secrets and events in her life with her grandmother, who is feeling worse every day because of her addiction to smoking. In the morning, her mother can't wake Melissa up, but the girl doesn't sleep at all. She explores her body just below the stomach. After a while, Melissa meets up with her friend Manuela, and the girls go to a party at the house of a rich boy, Daniel, with whom Melissa is in love. She is nervous and does not dare to approach and talk to the guy. However, Daniel notices her and invites her to swim in the pool. But Melissa doesn't know how to swim, so she just sits by the pool until Daniel pulls her in. Melissa starts to drown, and the boy realizes that she doesn't know how to swim and immediately helps her. Then Daniel takes Melissa to a beautiful place on the edge of a cliff. There they start a conversation, during which Daniel suggests that Melissa come here every day and he will teach her how to swim. After a few questions, it turns out that Melissa is still a virgin, and Daniel begins to realize that the girl is in love with him and would do anything for him. He takes advantage of this and forces Melissa to give him pleasure, and then just leaves. Summer vacation is over and fall has come. Melissa is still in love with Daniel, whom she has never seen since the incident at the party. She writes down all her experiences in her personal diary. A few days later, Melissa goes to a bar with her friend Manuela, where Daniel and his friends are also having a good time. Daniel notices Melissa and introduces her to his friends. After a few drinks, the couple goes to Daniel's house, where he seduces Melissa. During the lovemaking, the girl says she loves Daniel, but when she hears this, the guy just leaves, leaving Melissa alone. Soon, Melissa makes a promise to herself that she will become like Daniel and hurt other people for her own pleasure. At home, Melissa learns that her parents have decided to put her grandmother in a nursing home because her condition has deteriorated and she needs professional care. This fact is very upsetting for Melissa because there is no one closer to her than her grandmother. After a touching farewell to Elvira, the mother and daughter return home. Darina tries to talk to Melissa, but the girl is angry and not in the mood for a dialogue. The next day, Melissa decides to change herself. She goes to a cafe with Manuela and easily seduces a man sitting next to her. When he comes closer to get to know her, Melissa simply walks away, leaving him with nothing. With this prank, Melissa wanted to prove to Manuela that she had changed a lot. Christmas came and Elvira came to visit her family. When her grandmother sees Melissa, she realizes that the girl has a lot of problems. Elvira tries to tell Daria about it, but the woman replies that she hasn't noticed anything wrong with her daughter's life. One day, Melissa receives a call from Danielle and invites her to her home under the pretext that she has a surprise for her. Despite the fact that the guy has repeatedly insulted her, she agrees to come. Daniel immediately begins to seduce Melissa and asks her to close her eyes. Suddenly, Daniel's friend enters the room and they switch places. When Melissa opens her eyes, she is furious and tries to leave. Melissa will continue to methodically describe everything that happens to her in her diary. When Manuela finds out what Melissa does in her free time, she tries to convince her friend that she shouldn't behave like this, but Melissa doesn't listen. The next day, the girl with low social responsibility goes to the museum and admires the painting, dreaming of being looked at the same way as the woman depicted on the canvas. She is approached by a man who works as a museum caretaker, and after a couple of glances, they go off to study each other's anatomy. One day, Melissa's diary falls into the hands of her classmates, and they begin to read aloud all the girls' adventures. Everything's secret comes out, and after that, Melissa's life begins to fall apart. Melissa snatches the diary and blames Manuela for everything, after which the girls fight. To emphasize her changes, Melissa changes her image and buys more revealing clothes. Later, Manuela meets her and wants to talk about everything and make up, but Melissa doesn't care about her old friend. A new boy named Marco appeared in Melissa's class. He was always looking at the girl, but he could not dare to talk to her. Finally, having gathered the courage, Marco decides to talk to Melissa, when suddenly she receives a call from Daniel's friend Arnaldo, and the girl immediately runs to him at the first call, while Marco just looks at it. The girl meets Arnaldo, and the guy says that he has a surprise for her, but first she needs to be blindfolded and go down to the basement. There were 4 other guys waiting for Melissa in the basement. The next day, Rumors of what had happened spread throughout the school, and everyone learned about Melissa's true identity. But this does not stop the girl. On the contrary, it encourages her. She creates an account on a dating site to chat about all sorts of dirty and forbidden topics. There she meets a man and arranges to meet him in a more intimate setting. He invites her to a hotel room and she goes there. Sometime later, Daria receives a call from the nursing home informing her that Elvira is in extremely serious condition. Upon hearing this, Daria goes to Melissa's room but does not find her daughter there. Instead, she finds a diary which she begins to read with horror. She takes it with her to the nursing home and continues to read, immersing herself in the intimate details of her daughter's life. A friend of Elvira's comes out of the room and tells her that her grandmother has died, after which Daria begins to cry uncontrollably. At the same time, Melissa enters the hotel room, where different outfits have been prepared for her. A little later, a man appears in the room and immediately becomes angry when he sees that Melissa is dressed in a mishmash of costumes he has prepared. The man says he was planning to role-play, but Melissa takes the initiative and begins to dominate. However, this does not last long. The man beats Melissa severely, and she miraculously manages to escape from the hotel. After a bad party, Melissa runs to the nursing home and meets her mother there. Daria tells her about her grandmother's death, and when she hears this, the girl begins to cry. By Melissa's clothes, the mother realizes where her daughter has been, but says nothing about it. After giving her daughter time to grieve, Darina shows her the diary and asks if what she wrote in it is true. Melissa replies that it is true, and they begin to cry together. Darina apologizes to her daughter for being a bad mother and promises that from that day on, everything will change. On the last day of school, Melissa makes up with her friend Manuela and they go to school together. There they watch Arnaldo and Daniel fight because they can't share a girl. When Daniel sees Melissa, he tries to talk to her, but she walks by. Melissa goes to check the results of the exams and finds out that Marco has failed them. Finally, the boy confesses his feelings to Melissa and draws her portrait. Later, Daniel approaches her and invites her to a party to celebrate the end of the school year. Melissa initially refuses, but later agrees. That evening, Melissa goes to Daniel's house with Manuela. There, the girl makes eye contact with her ex-boyfriend and then goes out into the backyard and jumps into the sea. Unfortunately or fortunately, she survives and looks quite happy. At the end of the movie, Melissa and her mother go to lay flowers on their grandmother's grave. Darina hugs her daughter lovingly, and we realize that their relationship is getting better. This is the end of the movie. That's all for today. Subscribe and like if you want more videos like this.